The Arai Quantic is a full-face helmet made by the Japanese brand Arai. This helmet is designed for a combination of high speed and longer touring trips. We gave this helmet to our test rider and he came back with a lot of interesting data, so stay tuned. Hi everyone, Team of Champion Helmets here and welcome to our channel. In today's video we're taking a closer look at the Arai Quantic. This helmet brings a lot to the table, and the first thing we're going to mention is the 2206 certification. This means that this has been tested according to the new strict standards. But that's not all, and there are a lot of ventilation options on the helmet and is a real premium option in the sport touring helmet segment. During our testing we will discover if claims made about this helmet by Arai hold any truth. We put a lot of time and effort into these reviews with just one goal, so that you can watch an honest review based on facts rather than marketing language and or personal opinions. So, if you appreciate this effort, hit the subscribe button and like the video so that we can continue to do these tests and you continue to receive honest in-depth reviews. With that out of the way, let's start the review with some general points. The Quantic has a more round oval fit, a double D closure, and the helmet will start at a retail price of about €650. Because of this, the helmet will compete with the Shoei NXR2, AGV K6S, AGC Alpha 71, Scorpion EXO 1400 Evo Carbon and some other high-end sport touring helmets. We're going to start the review in this video with the material part. The Quantic is made out of fiberglass, or more specifically Arai's PBE-CLC. Arai also used new materials and added an extra layer of belting to reduce weight and increase safety. This has resulted in a very strong fiberglass helmet. A point that is always interesting to mention when talking about the material part about Arai helmets is the round outer shell. A round outer shell increases safety, and according to Arai, a round object will glance off impact energy instead of absorbing it all. Furthermore, we see that the helmet is available in 6 sizes and 3 outer shell sizes. Arai provides an outer shell size for every 2 sizes. An helmet with more outer shell sizes not only looks better, but it's also a lot safer. And if we add everything up, we see that the Quantic earns 3.5 stars for the material part. And if we compare this with the other helmets, we see that's on par with the GT-R2 and the Spartan GT Pro. Most helmets earned a half a star more thanks to the more outer shell sizes or because they are made from the material carbon. So a solid start for the Quantic, but we are far from done yet. So let's move on to the weight of the helmet. Now that we are done with the material, we continue with an important part, and that is the weight of the helmet. A lighter helmet not only improves your riding experience, but also prevents fatigue in the neck while riding. If we weigh the Quantic in a size M, the scale indicates 1561 grams, which is a solid result. This earns the helmet a nice 4 stars for the weight. And if we start comparing this with the other helmets, we see that it almost ends at the bottom of the list, despite earning 4 stars. The lightest helmet was the AGV K6S, with an incredible weight of 1298 grams, and it was slightly lighter than the AGC Alpha 71. So despite being on the heavier side compared to the other helmets, it's still a relative light helmet, so a great start with 4 stars. And as you can see in the results, almost every top sport touring helmet has the new 2206 certification, which is very nice to see. With the material and weight done, we continue with the visor. The visor of the Arai Quantic is a VES V visor that provides a wide field of view. VES V stands for Variable Access System, and it is a special approach taken by Arai that lets them lower the mounting position of the visor, thus improving on safety. The helmet is also paintlock lens prepared, which is included in the box. A paintlock lens ensures that your visor never condenses while riding. The visor also has a latch system, which is an extra closure of the visor to hold it in its place to ensure an even tighter fit, and can be easily operated and opened if needed. The latch system ensures that the visor won't open accidentally. And if we add everything up, we see that the Quantic earns 4 stars for the visor. And if we compare this to the other helmets, we see that and in the middle of the list. The EXO 1400, GT-R2 and Schubert S3 earned more stars thanks to a better visor mechanism or extra dark smoke visor that is included in the box. The Quantic is on par with most of the other helmets, and despite the light weight, the K6 ends at the bottom of the list this time. So interesting results so far. And now that we have covered the material, weight and visor, we can move on to the road test. Before we move on to the results, first a quick explanation of how we collect our data. On the left side you see a white thermometer that shows the inside temperature of the helmet. This thermometer is connected to a sensor inside the helmet. In the top center you see the decibel meter, which is connected to a microphone placed near our rider's ear. This captures the sound as our riders hears it. On the right we see a phone that displays wind speed and outside temperature. This is connected to a device mounted on our bike. In the middle we see the dashboard of the bike with the riding speed of our test rider. Now that that is clear, we can start the road test with the noise. When testing the helmet with an average wind speed of about 120, a riding speed of 130 km an hour. And if we look at the decibel meter, you can see that we had an average reading of 101 decibel, which is an okay result. And this result earned this helmet 3 stars for the noise. And if we weigh in the other helmets, we see that it didn't make top half of the list. It's on par with the LS2 Challenger Carbon and 1 decibel louder than the S3 from Schubert. The two most quieted helmets were the GTR2 and the XO 1400 Evo, thanks to an average reading of an incredible 97 decibel. So a solid result for the Quantic, and we move on to the ventilation of the helmet. Again, some interesting results. Okay, great. And before we look at the results, we're going to discuss the ventilation options. We are going to look at the logo on top of the helmet, because this is actually a vent. You can slide the top vent down to open the vent and close it by sliding it up. Besides the logo, the helmet also has 2 brow vents and 2 scoops on top of the helmet, which they also use on the Formula 1 helmets. The Quantic also has a chin vent, which can be opened and closed. If we look at the rear ventilation, we can see that it has multiple exhaust vents. The helmet has a spoiler that also functions as an exhaust vent, 2 side and a neck exhaust. So very decent ventilation for releasing all the hot air. If we look at the results of the road test, we can see that there was a 1 degree difference, which is a good result. And because of this result, the Quantic earns 4 stars for the ventilation. If we compare this with the other helmets, we see that's on par with most of the other helmets. The helmets that did slightly better, thanks to a difference of 0 degrees, were the S3, Alpha 71, XO 1400 and the Challenger Carbon. So the Quantic keeps up with the other helmets so far, but we are not done yet and move on to the comfort of the helmets. We are now going to discuss the only subjective part of this review, and that is the comfort of the helmet. For this part, we lean on the more than 15 years of riding experience of our test rider, who has tested all the helmets we have mentioned so far, so we can make a fair comparison. Our test rider mentioned that the Quantic felt really nice while riding and felt better to most of the other helmets. Our test rider mentioned that you can feel the difference of the facial counter system, which provides some extra support around the cheeks. The inner lining is removable, washable and replaceable. A nice extra you get is that you can peel away 5mm on the temple pad to ensure an even better fit. If we add everything up, we can see that the helmet earned 4.5 stars for the comfort. And if we compare this with the other helmets, we see that only the GTR2 performed better thanks to some extra details. For example, some extra soft material behind the ears. But that's better than all the other helmets. So an amazing result by the Quantic for this part. But we have to do one more part before we can take a look at the final verdict. Okay, great. We have arrived at the last part before we're going to look at the total overview and final verdict. The Quantic is 2206 certified, which is mandatory for manufacturers. In addition, the helmet has an emergency quick release, which allows easy and safe removal of the cheek pads if needed. The closure of the helmet is a double D-ring. And the helmet has speaker pockets and is prepared for a communication system. A nice extra Arai is added into the helmet is a neck roll wire pocket. This is an extra roll to place the wires of a communication system. If we add up all the features, we can see that the Quantic earns 3 stars for the features. Because of this result, the helmet is on par with most of the other helmets we have mentioned so far. 3 helmets did better, and those were the Alpha 71, S3 and the NXR2. So not a bad result at all for the Quantic. Now that we have covered every part, we can take a look at the total overview and final verdict. For material, the Quantic earned 3.5 stars, thanks to a fiberglass construction and 3 Audi shell sizes. For weight, it earned 4 stars. Thanks to a result of 1561 grams, and for the Visor 4 stars because helmet spindle glass prepared, which is included in the box. For noise it earned 3 stars, thanks to an average reading of 101 decibel, and 4 stars for the ventilation because there was a difference of 1 degree. For comfort, the helmet earned a great 4.5 stars because the helmet felt great while riding, and 3 stars for features because of the 2206 certification and preparedness for a communication system. If we add up all the earned stars, the helmet has an average of 3.7 stars, for which you pay 25 euros per earned star. So a great job by Arai and creating an all-round helmet. Do you want more information about the Arai Quantic? Then be sure to take a look in our webshop, championhelmets.com, where we always offer the lowest price guarantee and have amazing discount bundles. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more reviews, road tests and guides. Thank you for watching. My name is Simon from Champion Helmets, and until next time.